For most of us, our 20s were difficult. We were still trying to figure out who we were and our place within the world, our identity, what we're gonna do for the rest of our life. These are some of the questions that I sort of struggled with when I was in my 20s. And now that I'm in my 30s, all the things that I did in my 20s really compounded and added up into what is now my 30s. And now I'm sort of reaping the rewards. So, hey, what can I do so I can set myself up to make my 30s the best decade ever? And then we think about like the 80-20 principle. What are 20% of the things that I can do to give me 80% of the results, right? The Pareto principle. And it all really starts in your 20s. What am I doing in order to set myself up for success for the next decade, right? And we're thinking about long-term thinking. We're not talking about like, hey, let's get rich within a year. Let's get rich within 3 years. We're talking about, hey, what is the effort and what is required for me today in order to set myself up in the next 5 to 10 years. The trick is to use your 20s as a stepping stone. When you're in your 20s, you have a lot of time and energy, but you don't have a lot of money. You have your health, you have your energy, you have basically a lot of time on your hands because the most that you're gonna actually doing is you're in school or you got your first job, right? You probably don't have a family yet. You probably don't have a whole lot of responsibilities. You don't have a lot of things that you have to maintain and manage, right? As you get older, you sort of grow into that and you have more things, more responsibilities. Maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have kids, maybe you have to mortgage, maybe you have to pay off a huge amount of bills associated with that and just more responsibility at work. In your 20s, you really want to take advantage of that time and energy that you have, right? What are you focusing in terms of money, relationships, where you actually live, and your career? A lot of people don't actually spend a lot of time thinking and reflecting and really trying to experience and try to figure out what they want out of their careers and what they want out of their relationships, what they want out of where they live, because your environment is very important and the people that you associate with. Your idea and your understanding of personal finances and money is going to be very important to set you up for your 30s because you have time on your hands. And we're all talking about this idea of compounding, how it's sort of like a snowball effect, right? How can I utilize my money and all the money that I earned, whether it's a small amount or it's a larger amount, how can I utilize that money in order to help me grow into the future, right? Are you investing it? Are you properly saving? Are you spending frivolously? How are you actually spending? Are you budgeting, right? Your personal finances and what you want out of life, right? Are you thinking about just yourself right now, or you think about your future self, like the future Warren, like when Warren is 60, 65, do I actually have some money saved up for him? And this also goes into not only money, but like relationships, like who am I associating myself with, right? You're the equivalent of the 5 people that you surround and spend the most time with, right? Are they people that you don't actually want to, that are not gonna enable your growth? Are they people that are just there for the ride? Or are they people that are challenging you, that are giving you new ways of thinking, new ways of thoughts, and to actually question some of your long-held beliefs that are holding you back? So your 20s is a time to actually set the foundation so that you can thrive in your 30s. And some of the common mistakes that people sort of make is like they fall into these addictions, right? Being addicted to video games, being addicted to porn, being addicted to shopping, being addicted to going out to the club and getting high and chasing this never-ending cycle of pure bliss and all those things, and like social media hype and the highlight reel and trying to gain clout. Those are addictions, and those are things that we sort of think are going to make us happy, but they're actually setting us back. They're screwing with our internal system of what we perceive to be actually contentment and joy, right? So we got to be very careful about these little common mistakes and common pit traps that people in their 20s and 30s and even 40s still continue to make, and they're setting them back and to destroy all the progress that you've made. So aim for compound growth in your relationships and your career and your money and everything like that. That's what you want to have in your mindset in order to continue to grow. It's this idea of like, hey, not only is compounding used in finance and money, but it also means in your relationship, right? Are there relationships and the people that you want to continually investing in so that you can have these lifelong friendships? That's my personal goal, right? To have a strong community. And something that I personally neglected in my 20s because I was like so focused on chasing money was that I neglected a lot of relationships with my friends and my family. And it sort of dawned on me now that I'm in my 30s that, hey, like I need to put in the work in order to maintain and build new friendships, new communities, and to continue doing that in order to set myself up because it sort of goes to the idea that like one of the top regrets of dying is not actually spending enough time with your friends and family and the people that matter to you the most. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this video and you're getting some value out of it, please, if you can just click the like button and actually subscribe, that would be really helpful, because it helps the YouTube algorithm actually show my content to more people. As always, thank you for watching. Continue investing in yourself, skill and time, and it's gonna compound and continue to grow at a rate that is exponential, right? It's gonna be slow at first, but it's gonna continue growing up. In my 20s, I was mainly focused on career, getting skills, and making money, but I also realized that I needed to put in a lot of time and skills on a lot of other things, like my ability to communicate, communicating effectively, my emotional intelligence, how I actually able to empathize, and the different social and emotional dynamics in a group setting, right? These are all the things that you should be thinking like, hey, it's not only my career and making money, but like what are these soft skills that are going to put me in the top 1% and to actually grow and be a person that I'm very proud of, right? The ability to communicate, your leadership ability, right? Your skill, your pure skill sets, like being able to speak Spanish, being able to speak Chinese, being able to speak English, being able to dance, being able to salsa and bachata, because these are all skills that can be used in a social environment as well. And all these different skills in these areas, not only hard skills, right, but also soft skills as well. The idea is really to be hey, I actually want to improve and reach my own personal potential, but at the same time, I want to have a lot of fun as well. How do I juggle being a person that is so focused on work and career and gaining resources and developing all these skills, but also at the same time have fun at the same time, right? And this is a very delicate balance, and everyone's gonna have their own personal definition of success. Is that some people are gonna sacrifice a lot of their 20s in order to set themselves up in their 30s to have that fun, to enjoy the fruits of their labor. But it's like a balancing act, right? Even when I was in my 20s, I worked very hard. I was working my normal job, but I was also working on all these self-development activities in order to read more, in order to gain new skills, in order to learn more about the world, about geopolitics, to learn about politics, to learn about history, geography, and all these different things and that I was interested in. But at the same time, I was also traveling. I was traveling the world. I was taking basically the little resources that I have extra that I wasn't investing and spending it on things that I value the most, which for me was traveling. I traveled throughout Europe, I traveled throughout Asia, I traveled in the US, and now I'm traveling throughout South America. And it's like, hey, this is what I'm very passionate about: traveling, meeting people, learning about new things, cultures, societies, history, and that sort of makes me a more well-rounded person. So now that I'm in my 30s, I sort of feel like I'm reaping the rewards. I'm sort of understanding like who I am, what I actually value, and what I actually enjoy the most. And it's sort of all coming full circle into this being of who I am as a person and who Warren is. And it sort of takes a full revolution of a whole cycle of even really a decade, and you're going to go throughout this journey, and you're going to sort of see yourself developing from this person that I was when I was 20, when I was 25, when I was 30, when I was 35, right? And you're going to see the results that if you continually put in the effort, you're going to see the results all sort of compound together. And that's sort of like my message to you guys today is like, if you want to make 30s the best freaking decade of your life, start doing the work now, right? And it doesn't matter what age you're at right now, but it's like, what am I doing today, tomorrow, every single day to set myself up on these good habits in order to build the foundation needed in order to build my life into my 30s and make it the best decade ever.